From this year forward, it will be called the Grant Taft Coaching Beyond the Game Award.
The news of legendary Baylor Bears head coach Grant Taft stepping down as American Football Coaches Association Executive Director after 21 years was a bit of a shock to the audience at the Texas High School Coaches Association Leadership Summit in San Antonio recently. The theme was centered around fatherless families. Taft is planning to tour the country to speak on this topic and the role of today's coaches to instill core values and strong character in their student athletes.
We've got to turn it so that young people take responsibility for their action. They develop values that will allow them to live happy and successful lives. You see, out of developed values, character emerges.
Former Texas Longhorn quarterback Colt McCoy, who is still one of the winningest FBS quarterbacks in NCAA history, echoed some of the same sentiments about core values he learned growing up as a son of a coach.
You know, my dad mentoring his athletes, even when I was a young kid. You know, he was a father figure to some, he was a mentor to some, he was a friend to some, and so I just wanted to encourage the coaches that were in attendance today that you are a role model, you are making a difference.
McCoy speaks at Fellowship of Christian Athletes events often. The CEO of that popular organization, Les Steckel, spent 32 years coaching, including 23 in the NFL. He learned long ago as a retired Marine Corps colonel of 30 years that leadership qualities are extremely important for coaches who must instill that in their athletes.
Just told them I think that young people today need three things, and when they get them they can be, I believe, A students and A-plus athletes, and that's attention, affirmation, and affection. They're all craving it.
THSCA Executive Director D.W. Rutledge knows firsthand what it's like to raise kids from players to fine young men in society. The former Texas Lutheran linebacker won the NAIA Division II National Championship in 1974 under head coach Jim Wacker. He would later guide the Judson Rockets to 4 state championships and 198 wins in 17 seasons. Rutledge's book, Coaching to Change Lives, implements a values-oriented learning experience.
High school coaches, I think, are some of the most influential people in our society because they've got an opportunity to teach hundreds of young people on almost a daily basis, and at a very teachable time in their lives to help kids beyond the game.
DW's former student at Converse Judson, athlete Derwin Gray, is the lead pastor of Transformation Church in South Carolina. Known as the evangelism linebacker, Gray graduated from Brigham Young and spent 5 seasons in the NFL with the Carolina Panthers and the Indianapolis Colts. His message was loud and clear.
The older you get, the more appreciative you are of people that were strategically placed in your life, and Coach Rutledge was a father figure that I didn't have. And you know, he's been a fixture of my life since 1986.
That's the greatest thing about coaching, is when you see those players grow and see what they become. You're just proud of them, just like you would be your son, and I'm really proud to do it.
Joe Ehrman played professional football for 12 years, and the former Syracuse defensive lineman had a strong message against domestic violence.
We really need to get back out of this win-at-all-costs kind of culture and back to some kind of social, moral, ethical development of young people through sports.
The Dean of NFL Referees, Dr. Jim Tunney, officiated for 32 years at the highest level of pro football. From the Ice Bowl to the Fog Bowl, Tunney has seen it all and offered advice with a humorous take on life.
I said leadership is not so much about ability as it is responsibility. So step up and make the play. Step up and make it happen.
UT San Antonio men's and women's athletic director Lynn Hickey is an inspiration for us all, especially aspiring women in a male-dominated profession.
This was an opportunity not to talk so much about coaching strategies and practice plans, but to talk about the kind of person you need to be in leadership roles as a coach or as an administrator.
Duke sports psychologist Greg Dale and retired U.S. astronaut Clayton Anderson rounded out the speakers. Both approach life with a thought-provoking idea: what can we do to make the world a better place?
In the world stage, more teamwork, more cooperation, those things that are so integral to a coach's life. If we could have more of that, then we'd be a more successful planet.
You're supposed to be in this for kids, so if we can keep our ego in check and do that, our chances of winning are going to be better anyway.
In San Antonio, Jeff Power, High School Spotlight.